So, guys, do you remember who Upton Sinclair is? Well, if you did, it's probably because you remember her back in your high school days. So we learned that he published a book in 1906. And so in this book, it pretty much exposed the meat packaging industry of their health violation and their unsanitary practice. But many people don't know that he also wrote another book. The book is called The Fasting Cure. Now, in this book, he takes 250 people that had some illnesses and some disorders. So what he decides to do is, hey, you guys are going to go on this long fast. Interesting to find out after this fast was over that people have seen some significant changes in their life, significant changes in their health. Now, except a handful of cases, the majority had shown that their conditions had actually improved. Isn't this crazy? I actually find this really curious, and I want to know more about it. So I did some more research. So I decided to look down into history to figure out who else fasted. I learned that some of the greatest minds to ever walk the face of the earth, such as Plato and Gandhi, said that they fasted regularly. Plato actually quoted, "I fast for greater physical and mental efficiency." Whatever that means. Well, you remember Gandhi? Well, Gandhi fasted for a political protest to gain media attention and to also draw attention to his message. He did this regularly. So one of my questions was, is there more to fasting than what just meets the eye? I did research. So the research suggested that there is strong evidence that concludes that fasting is tremendously good for the body and the mind. What this research pretty much says is, so one thing that your body does when you fast that doesn't do when you eat 3 meals a day is that your body actually changes the metabolism. There's a metabolism shift that happens. So with that, when that happens, actually you start burning fat. Every single time that you eat a meal, that energy is actually stored in your liver in the form of glycogen. You usually start exercising. What happens is that your body actually taps into that energy, that liver that you have. It usually starts tapping into that first to deplete the energy that's within. And it takes anywhere from 10 to 12 hours before there is a depletion. Then you can start burning fats once there's a depletion in energy, which is from food. And actually, exercise can help with this too, but usually at a slower rate. What I'm really saying is that once you have actually depleted the energy that's stored in your liver, then you can actually start burning fats. What's cool is, so this process actually produces what are known as ketone bodies. Interestingly, find out these ketone bodies are it does amazing things to the brain. Why? It turns out that ketones are actually great for the brain. So we've already discussed that ketones are actually produced from burning fats, right? So one of the cool things about ketones is that they provide alternative fuel for the neurons, for the brain. This particular fuel actually boosts the energy level in the neurons. It was recently just discovered that fasting can actually increase the mitochondrial level of energy that's inside of your nerve cell by fasting. By increasing the level of mitochondria inside of your neurons, it actually increases the ability for your neurons to form and to maintain synapse. All this just really means that, so this increases your learning ability as well as it increases your memory ability, which I kind of find really cool. Just kind of looking back, I just remembered Plato's quote whenever he said, "I fast for a greater physical and mental efficiency." So I guess that's the proof. From all the crazy statements that I just said, I do have proof. So I'm going to put the citation below, and it's called Nature's Communication by Mark Mattson, and he's a professor of neuroscience at the University of Johns Hopkins. So I do have proof for what I just said. I'll be the first one to tell you that fasting really does work. Because growing up, I was actually put into the special education department. So I was labeled inside of this category for a very long time, all throughout high school. Now, if you don't know what that means, another name might be vocational learning or remedial learning. Now, if you really don't know what that means, this is the practice of educating students with special education needs in a way that addresses their difference and also their needs. And I just pretty much wanted to tell you guys this because with a little help of self-control and fasting, I really just feel like I'm at the edge. I just feel more cognitively clear and just able to make more rational decisions, whether it's with my studies or just normal day-to-day decision making. So I would really recommend this to anybody that's actually having some mental conflicts or anything like that. Let's get to the best part of this whole video. Now, I want to see from a different perspective. What is your body saying when you're fasting? So, from all we know, what your body and your mind thinks is, I'm in this island and I'm starving with no food. So what your body decides to do is it decides to go into this survival mode. And you'll notice that your 5 senses will start just sharpening. You'll notice that your eyesight might get razor sharp. You'll be able to kind of detect things more. You know, when you smell things, you'll be able to detect different fragrance, and you'll start noticing things. When you touch materials, you'll be able to identify what's what and what type of surface material, this and that. And then you know, your hearing, your ears will just start picking up different noises, even the little micro noises. And so, I don't know, since you're fasting, but I'm sure, like your taste buds, I'm sure you'll be able to kind of differentiate what's what tastes like this or what tastes like that. And so that's what your body's actually doing. And so now you're in survival mode because your body's actually trying to survive. But now we look at it from the perspective of God. What are you communicating to God when you're fasting? And I honestly think this is what you're saying. So first of all, you know, when you take a leap of faith and you trust in God, you're pretty much saying, God, I'm giving you this room in my heart to work. I want you to work. I want you to dwell inside my heart. But when you start fasting, when you start getting dependent, when you no longer want food to be your main source, the thing that drives you, what you're saying is, God, I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to show you that I can't do anything without you. So what you're saying is, God, I'm making more room for you to work in. And so God, that I just pray that you can just come in, and I'm going to give you all this room, I'm going to give you all this space for you to move and work inside my heart. So I believe that's what we're communicating to God. I honestly think that fasting is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, and I think that's one of God's favorite tools. And if you actually start paying attention to your surroundings, you'll start to notice that a lot of people that actually fast and pray have a higher chance of this divine encounter, which is really cool, which makes you start thinking, why do they call it fasting? It kind of dawned on me that they call it fasting because you're literally running to God. So guys, that was the video for today, and I hope that it helped you out. And if it did, please put a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet already. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave it below, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Thanks guys.